Eggs Benedict is an elegant brunch dish that is surprisingly easy to make at home. Let's get started. The key to a smooth and rich yet light and creamy hollandaise sauce is making a proper emulsion with melted butter and the eggs. To a stainless steel bowl, add 2 egg yolks. Add 1 teaspoon of water to dilute the egg yolks and 3/4 teaspoons of vinegar. This is going to add a nice pungency. Use white wine vinegar if you want a more mellow acidity, or you could use distilled vinegar for a more tangy punch. The water is simmering, so now we can add the egg mixture on top. Vigorously whisk for about 2 to 3 minutes until a thick and pale mixture is formed. Make sure to reduce the heat of the pot if needed. You don't want the eggs to overcook. The egg yolks will thicken around 149 degrees and completely set at 158, so we want to avoid that upper temperature. Take the bowl off the heat and add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Restaurants typically use clarified butter with the milk solids removed because it gives a more stable emulsion in the sauce. Since we're at home and we're going to just eat this right away, just use the whole butter. No need for extra work. Transfer the butter to a measuring cup to make it easier to pour. Make sure the butter is not above 145 degrees or it's going to curdle the eggs. Add a kitchen towel underneath the bowl so it prevents it from moving when you start to whisk. To make a proper emulsion, make sure you just add a few droplets at a time. This will help break up the fat so you don't get a pool of grease on top of the sauce. Now you have a gorgeous, silky sauce. The final texture should be similar to a lightly whipped cream. To season the sauce, add a little bit of kosher salt and cayenne pepper for just a hint of spiciness. If you want a more tart sauce, you could add a little bit more lemon juice. The hollandaise sauce should be used within an hour and a half. However, if you do need to rewarm it, just set it back on that double boiler, give it a whisk until it's nice and warm. Making poached eggs can be a little tricky, but I'll show you my foolproof method for tender whites and oozy golden centers. Use cold, fresh eggs. This is going to ensure that the egg whites are nice and tight, giving you a perfect oval shape instead of a saucer spaceship look. An easy way to check egg freshness is looking at its Julian date. That's this 3-digit number on the side of the carton. The number represents the day it was washed and packed. This one says 017, which means it's January 17th. To prepare the poaching liquid, add 2 quarts of water to a medium saucepan. Heat it over medium-high heat until it reaches a really low simmer, about 180 degrees. Turn the heat down to medium-low. For more tender and quicker cooking egg whites, add in 4 teaspoons of distilled vinegar. To season the water and prevent the egg white proteins from binding too tightly together, add in 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Stir to dissolve the salt granules. Crack the eggs into a ramekin. It makes it a lot easier to lower into the water. As eggs age, the egg white starts to have this really thin layer that creates these wisps around the poached egg. If you want to see my method for straining and getting rid of those wispy whites, check out the link below. Gently lower the egg into the water, then stir slowly for about 10 seconds clockwise. As you can see, this helps remove some of those wispy whites on the edges. Poach the eggs for about 3 to 5 minutes until the egg whites set. If you want to cook multiple eggs at one time, maybe 3 to 4, just lower the eggs into the pot but do not stir. This method gently sets the egg whites, which happens at about 180 degrees. The yolk will stay golden and oozy as long as it doesn't get above 160 degrees, so you want to hit that sweet spot. Now you have a beautiful poached egg. Transfer the egg to a paper towel lined sheet pan so that it can soak up the excess moisture and you can make the next egg. If you'd like a cleaner look on the egg, you can trim away any of these excess little wispies on the edges. If you plan on making a large batch of poached eggs, here's an easy trick to keeping them warm. Heat a large pot of water to between 120 and 140 degrees. Add the egg into the water. It'll stay nice and warm in the pot for about 20 minutes. Now you can keep poaching the rest of your eggs. Sear the Canadian bacon. It's a center-cut pork loin that's been cured and has a smoky flavor. If you like, lightly grease the pan with some melted butter. Sear the bacon until it's lightly golden brown on the surface, about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. If you don't have Canadian bacon, you can also use ham. English muffins are the classic bread to use for Eggs Benedict. Now you can toast the English muffins in the toaster to make it nice and crispy, but I like to do it with a little butter in the hot pan. This adds so much more flavor to the bread. Golden brown and toasty. Let's build the Eggs Benedict. It's an open-faced sandwich, so we're going to add the top and bottom on the plate. Add a slice of the seared Canadian bacon, poached egg on top. Drizzle the Hollandaise sauce, garnish with sliced chives. This adds freshness and a nice pop of color, and paprika. You can use sweet or smoked. What's not to love about runny poached eggs sitting on top of crispy bread and savory bacon? A classic Eggs Benedict is always delicious, but here are ways to customize the iconic dish. Instead of English muffins, try tender and flaky biscuits, buttery croissants, or your favorite crusty bread. Switch up Canadian bacon with crab cakes, crispy bacon, or smoked salmon. For a vegetarian option, try adding some sauteed onions, red bell peppers, green bell peppers, minced garlic, sauteed spinach, or add on some sliced tomato and creamy avocado. For a low-carb option, if you don't want to eat the Eggs Benedict with bread, try slices of sweet potato, zucchini, or portobello mushrooms. You could roast, grill, or cook them on the stovetop. How would you customize your Eggs Benedict? Let me know in the comments below. Let's take Eggs Benedict Florentine to the next level. Get your pan over medium heat and add some olive oil. Saute a tablespoon of minced garlic for about 30 seconds until fragrant. A quarter cup of chopped onions, a quarter cup of red bell pepper, and a quarter cup of green bell pepper. Saute for a few minutes until the onions are lightly caramelized and the peppers are tender. Add in some fresh baby spinach. Cook until it just gets wilted down. This will only take a few minutes. Season with a little bit of salt and pepper. Add the filling to a toasted croissant. Ooh, that looks delicious. Add the poached egg on top, creamy hollandaise sauce, chives, and sweet paprika. If you're a seafood lover, you have to try these crab cake Eggs Benedict. To assemble, I've toasted some biscuits. Add a slice of tomato, sea salt, pepper. This enhances the flavor of the tomato. Add the crispy crab cake, poached egg, hollandaise sauce, a sprinkle of Cajun seasoning for a spicy kick, and fresh chives. Now this is a gourmet brunch you can make right at home. And there you have it, Eggs Benedict that's going to surely impress your family and friends. Now that you know how to make it, will you keep it classic or switch things up? Get the full recipe over on my website, jessicagavin.com. See you in the next video.